Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of 14 tips to planning a wedding. If you're new to our channel, welcome. I will suggest that you go to the first part so you understand what we were talking about. In the first part, we actually talked about 7 points as to how to plan, and then in this second part, we will talk about the details as to the coordination of the wedding. The first part, we mentioned at this point that you have already set a budget. You have picked a date and a venue, you have created a guest list, you have chosen a theme or a style, and you have hired your key vendors already, and you have already started planning the ceremony. And also you have sent the save the dates and the invitations. Point 8. Plan the reception. There are 3 keys as to how to plan your reception. So you have to think about the food and the drinks. As I spoke about in the first part, you chose your caterer already, catering service. So you have to meet with them to discuss menu options to cater to your style. So if you want Mexican food, Indian food, African food, whatever it is that you want, you have to make sure that they will be able to cook it and provide it for you. And then also the drinks, you have to think about if you want to have alcohol, you want to have some open bar, or you don't want to have alcohol, you just want to have soft drinks or water. It's up to you. And then the second point will be the seating arrangement. This one is also a little bit tough because it's really hard sometimes to put people together. And with the seating arrangement, after choosing your venue, you want to go for big round tables of 10 people, 10 to 12 people. Why? Because it's much easier when you have 10 to 12 seats per table for you to put the people that know each other together. You know, some people will come as a couple, so you want to make sure that you have a big table to accommodate all the couples, all the family members, the friends, and it's always better to put the people that know each other together so that they can have fun, they can enjoy your wedding together. And also the seating arrangement, you can start working on it at the beginning all the way to maybe 2 weeks before your wedding. And most venues actually require for you to provide your final guest list 2 weeks prior to the wedding day. It's just so, I personally, I believe that this is a little bit like, it gives headaches because that was the one thing that I hated to do at my wedding, the seating arrangement, because it's just so hard to arrange people, you know, knowing who knows who, especially if you know a lot of people. Like African weddings, there's so many people. Sometimes you have to think twice, 3, 4 times. Does this group of people know that group of people? Can I put them together? Are they gonna enjoy the wedding if they sit together? So it's really hard to actually coordinate that. But again, give yourself a lot of time to work on it, and do not be surprised if you are still working on the seating arrangement until 2 weeks prior to the wedding day. It's actually normal. The third point will be the music and the entertainment. Plan special moments like the first dance, the speeches, the cake cuttings, the games. This is literally the core of your reception. This is when people have fun at your wedding. This is when people are enjoying your wedding, because you literally have things that are set in order. So this is the job of the coordinator, to actually make sure that it goes smoothly. But it is your job to come up with what you want. Do you want the first dance first? So after you enter in your reception, what do you want to happen first? The first dance, the speeches, the cake cutting, the food? So whatever it is that you want, you and your partner are to decide how the timeline of your reception will be. And then the coordinator's job will be to make sure, the coordinator's job and the MC, actually the master of ceremony, that's their job to make sure that all those things go smoothly. The 9 points is the wedding attire. So the bride's dress and accessories, you have to start shopping early to allow time for alterations. I do have some tips for customized bride's dress for cheap. So again, reach out to me and I'll be gladly and happy to help. And also the groom's attire, you have to decide between the tux, a suit, or something else to match with the wedding vibe. And then we have the bridal party attire. Now, I have to pause on this one because there's a lot to say about the bridal party. First of all, why do we have a bridal party? And then how do we choose a bridal party? Usually, we have a bridal party because we need to have people around us that will cheer us up, especially the bride and the groom. You need to have people that will cheer you up, the people that will have fun with you, that will make the whole experience fun. How do you choose your bridal party? I suggest that you pick the closest friends, best friends, friends for life, BFF, whatever you want to call it, or your sister, your brother, or just someone that is very close to you, someone who knows how to have fun. I would suggest to get young people because most of the time young people are energetic, they know how to have fun, but also choose people that are ready to bring it down for you, that are ready to cheer you up, that are ready to just go crazy for you. I can assure you this. The one thing that makes a wedding or a reception fun and lit is the bridal party. The bridal party is very important. So pick people who know how to have fun. And for Africans, I also say pick people who know how to dance, because for us Africans, we usually love to enter, like we do the profession, like when we enter into the reception, we usually enter with like choreographies, like dance move. So you want to make sure that you pick people that know how to dance, know how to have fun and all that. So choose wisely. And also nowadays, you can actually ask your bridal party to contribute, because it's very expensive if you have to pay for each of your bridesmaid or each of your grooms, and if you have to pay for their attire, their accessories. That's why, how many bridesmaids do you need? How many groomsmen do you really need? It just depends on you, but know this, the bigger your bridal party is, the more money you need to spend. So be wise in choosing who is your bridesmaid, who is your groomsman, how many of them do you need. And then also in the bridesmaid, you need to have a maid of honor. In the groomsman, you need to have a best man. Those are the people that will be responsible for certain things. Again, these are details. You can reach out to me for those details. But again, just take your time to pick the right people, and also pick the people that actually can afford whatever they will need to afford, because hey, they have to chip in somehow. So make sure that they are financially stable and they will be able to actually afford or buy certain things. The 10 points is finalize the details. Again, we have a few things that you can overlook, but I think it's also important to actually have them at your wedding. For example, the wedding favors. Wedding favors are small gifts for your guests that you can have as a token of your appreciation. You invited them, they responded to your invitation, they honored you by being present. So just as a token of appreciation, you can actually plan to have small gifts at each table for each person for them to take home. And those wedding favors are anywhere between like a keychain, or you can customize those things. And then there's so many websites that you can actually order those things, customize them for very, very cheap. Let me know if you need help with that, okay? And then the other thing is transportation. You need to plan how you and your guests will get to the venue and from the venue. That's why in the first part I said, if there is a way for you to actually have both reception and ceremony at the same venue, please go for it, because it's so much easier. People don't have to go back and forth from one place to another. But if you prefer to have the ceremony and the reception in separate places, again, it's totally up to you. But you have to make sure that in your planning, in your timeline, you give your guests some time, because For example, at my wedding, I had my ceremony at the church, and then my reception at an actual wedding venue, like a hall. So both places were 20 minutes away from each other. And I had to consider that my wedding was on a Friday afternoon. I had to consider traffic. I had to consider that people will have to drive for 20 minutes. And if there's traffic, it's probably can take 40 minutes. So what I did is, the way I had my timeline, my ceremony was from 4 to 5:30, and then my reception started at 7 p.m. So I literally left 1 hour 30-minute gap to allow my guests to go from my ceremony, which was at the church, all the way to my reception, which was at the wedding hall. So I gave them 1 hour 30 minutes. You literally have to think about all those things. It's very important. It's also for yourself, just so you won't be stressing out too much. And then also accommodations. Book hotel blocks for out-of-town guests. This one I do not recommend, because you already have a lot of expenses. So when you invite someone and they respond to your invitation, they say, yes, I'm going to be there, I expect that someone to actually plan for them to be there. So if it's someone who is dear to you and they also think that you are dear to them, they will actually buy their own ticket, and then they will also book their own hotels. If you're able to book hotels for your guests, go for it. If you're not, do not stress over it. Your guests should be able to do it themselves. That's why you need to give them time. It's very important for you to let your guests know ahead of time. The same way that you need time to plan, the same way they also need time to plan to actually travel and then book hotels so that they can attend your wedding. And then the other point is the day of timeline. Create a detailed schedule for the wedding day, from getting ready to the end of the reception. Now, this is where I believe that the maid of honor, the best man, are very important, because again, you have a coordinator of the day. So the coordinator will assure that every step of the wedding go smoothly. But now the coordinator can be one person or two people, but they cannot be everywhere at the same time. They might actually think that it's best for them to be already at the reception or the ceremony to make sure that everything is ready, everything is settled. So in the meantime, where you are, you and your partner, you're getting ready, you also need someone to keep you in check, to keep everybody in check and make sure that everything is going well. I would suggest that you give that responsibility to your maid of honor and your best man, for them to ensure that you don't have to stress out for anything. You don't have to answer any question, because on that day, trust me, as much as you plan well, things don't go 100% perfect. There's always a little thing here and there. And then people tend to come to you, the bride and the groom, on your wedding day to ask you questions, like random questions. Oh, what do we do about this? Oh, where is this? Where is that? That's not to you to answer. On that day, all you need to do as the bride or the groom is to enjoy your day, because after so many months of planning, after so much money spent, you need to be able to enjoy that one day of 4, 5, 6 hours of wedding. You have to be able to enjoy it. That's why it's very important for you to give that responsibility to your maid of honor and groomsmen, or maid of honor and best man, for them to make sure that they do not let anybody else stress you out or ask you a bunch of questions, for them to be able to answer those questions, for them to be able to keep you in check, make sure that your timeline of the day is going smoothly from the time you get up. So that morning when you get up, you literally wake up, they have to make sure that everything that is planned for you to do, your hair, your makeup, getting dressed and everything, goes smoothly. Okay. And the 11th point, we're almost at the end, legal requirements. So most of the time you have to actually get married legally before even having your white wedding, because you need to have your marriage license. So don't forget to obtain a marriage license from your local government. And then also permits. You need permits for a few things. Most of the time, when you have your photographer, nowadays you want to go somewhere, maybe at a park, take some photos, some pictures before your ceremony or before your reception. So some parks or some places require for you to have a permits before using that space, before taking pictures in that space. I learned it the hard way. I literally got my permit 2 days before the wedding, and I had to literally knock on doors to make sure that I had a permit so that I could go with my bridal party and my photographers and take some pictures. Thank God it worked out. So ensure that you have any necessary permits for a venue or activities, especially for outdoor weddings. You need permits for some. The 12th point is rehearsal and rehearsal dinner. Rehearsal is important, I believe, because it gives you an idea of the day, how the day will go. So it's very important for people to attend the rehearsal. I am going to insist. Everyone who has a role to play at your wedding, you should require them to attend your rehearsal dinner. It doesn't have to be a dinner. For usually Western culture, they actually have a dinner, they eat and all that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a dinner. It can just be a day where you guys come and rehearse. You go step by step as to how the ceremony will go and how the reception will go. So rehearsal, organize a run through of the ceremony. And then the dinner, if you can organize a dinner, a relaxed meal with close family and the wedding party to prepare for the big day. The 13th point, plan for your honeymoon. This is literally up to you. If you have money saved, you can actually plan for your honeymoon. If you have a destination or a dream place that you would like to go for your honeymoon, please do so. Again, I have a few tips, or I have some website that helps for honeymoon. You can actually get good discounts. Those discounts that says 3 nights and 4 days at so and so destination, all inclusive. Yeah, I actually have small tips about that. So if you need help, please reach out. And also, the last point, this is the final point, prepare for the day. This is the 14th point. So prepare for the day. Delegate tasks. It's not easy to do that, but again, have your key people to whom you can delegate tasks. Maybe in your family, you can have one person that will be the point of contact. So if anyone has a question on that day, they don't go to you, they go to that person. That person, usually, I would advise for it to be the coordinator of your wedding. You have to let them be in charge, be in control of everything. Even your family members, they have to go to that person, not to you, because you don't want to be stressed out on that day. So delegate tasks and assign trusted friends, family members. Again, if you don't have a coordinator, you can have a friend or a family member that you trust, okay, that you can actually assign so that they can handle things like checking in with vendors and keeping track of the timeline. And then emergency kit. Usually wedding planner have those, coordinators have those, because you never know, anything can happen, especially with us women. Oof, your dress something can happen, an incident can happen to your dress, zipper can clash. So just have a small kit on hand for last minute, safety pins, stain remover, anything that can help in case of an emergency. So this general timeline and planning should help you stay organized and ensure that nothing is overlooked. Again, this was 14 tips as to how to plan a wedding. I know it's a lot, but again, there's also more details to every step. And I just want to let you know that I'm certified event planner, wedding planner. So if you need any help, if you need more information, more details, do not hesitate to reach out to me at codyeventplanning@gmail.com, or you can also drop a comment in this video below and just say, I need help. It doesn't matter, even if you are at the beginning of your planning, in the middle of the planning, at the end of the planning, and the wedding is literally in 1 week and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I have everything under control. Reach out to me. I'll be glad and happy to help you. Okay. Thank you so much for watching these videos, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.